gasping sobs. Once he heard the full story, he called the police for me, then raced over to my apartment as fast as he could. I found out the next day he'd been on a business trip 2 hours away across the city, and had driven straight through the night just to get back to me. I'd worried sick about his work schedule. Yet he'd only been furious that I'd ended up living somewhere so unsafe. He immediately set out to find me a better apartment in a secure neighborhood and covered an entire year's rent up front. I was overwhelmed, I stinging with tears as I stammered, "Thank you, I'll pay you back every cent." He laughed in exasperation and pulled me tight against his chest. "When Ran, for God's sake, I'm your boyfriend." I thought that kind of care was a privilege reserved only for his girlfriend. Now everything was different. Meng Yangxi had clearly posted that photo on purpose to taunt me. I gave the post a like, just as she'd wanted. Chen Yu never came home all night. I drifted off to sleep in a daze. The next morning before I left for work, I saw a message he'd left me. "I got back too late last night and didn't want to wake you, so I crashed somewhere else. I'm heading straight to the firm today. I'll pick you up for dinner after your shift." I typed and deleted dozens of drafts. I wanted to ask if he knew about Meng Yangxi's pregnancy, if he'd spent the night with her, and to tell him he was going to be a dad. In the end, I said nothing of it. My stubborn pride kicked in. I thought all of this should come from his own mouth unprompted. I simply replied, "All right." As I was wrapping up work for the day, Li Si called, begging me to tag along to IKEA with her. "Chen Yu's supposed to pick me up for dinner later," I told her. "At least he's got some decency, not rushing straight over to Meng Yangxi again." I stayed quiet and said nothing. I'd barely hung up when Chen Yu's name flashed across my phone screen. "Sorry, Ran. I have to entertain clients tonight. I probably can't make our dinner plans." I stared down at my lap and whispered, "Okay." I met Li Si at IKEA anyway. She needed to buy a kid's desk for her young niece, so I wandered around the store by myself. I turned a corner and my blood ran cold. I don't want these slippers, they look terrible with this outfit." There stood Meng Yangxi, with Chen Yu right in front of her, the same Chen Yu who just lied about entertaining clients. Chen Yu held a pair of soft house slippers in his hands, ignoring Meng Yangxi's playful complaints. He knelt down and slipped off her thin high heels. "You can't walk around in heels for long when you're pregnant." She kept pretending to pout and resist, yet let him swap out her shoes with a sweet, lovesick smile on her face. You're gonna be such a great dad someday." Chen Yu paused for a beat, a faint smile tugging at his lips. "Yeah." A sharp pain stabbed through my chest. I'd said that exact line to him once before, back when we decided we wanted to have a baby. I'd rambled on endlessly about how I planned to decorate the nursery. Chen Yu had pinched my cheek, amused. "If you describe the room to a designer like that, 9 out of 10 will lose their minds." A few days later, he'd handed me a full set of design sketches, weaving all my messy, scattered little ideas into a perfect dream nursery. I'd teared up staring at them, my chest stuffed tight with warmth. I'd told him sincerely, "Chen Yu, you'll make an amazing father someday." He hadn't responded back then. Now he was the one agreeing he'd be a good dad for another woman's child. I knew I needed to leave. If I walked over and confronted them, I'd only end up humiliated, not her. But Meng Yangxi spotted me first. "Ran." Her eyes lit up like she'd run into an old best friend, and she hurried straight toward me. In that split second, I watched Chen Yu steady her elbow, murmuring for her to slow down, terrified she might lose her balance. I was the one who looked pathetic, standing there watching them. Meng Yangxi grabbed my hand, eager to catch up and reminisce. I seethed inside, mad that Chen Yu had lied to me so blatantly yet faced me without an ounce of guilt. Even a flicker of nervousness or shame would have made this easier to bear. Instead, I felt completely insignificant. I pulled my hand away from hers. I didn't use much force. I only wanted to free my wrist from her grip. But the second I pulled back, she wobbled violently in her new slippers. Chen Yu instantly wrapped his arms around her to hold her upright. He shot me a sharp, angry glare. "When Ran Yangxi's pregnant," as if this was somehow my fault. My sinuses burned with the urge to cry. I clenched my fists so hard my nails dug into my palms, fighting every ounce of tears threatening to spill. I refused to look broken in front of them. I forced a hollow smile onto my face. "It's my bad, I'm sorry. Are you satisfied now, Chen Yu?" I thought back to my very first job, when my co-workers had bullied me relentlessly. We'd been days away from a major bid when someone discovered critical errors in the tender documents. The whole file had to be redone from scratch, yet the senior staff all colluded to shift all blame onto me to avoid taking responsibility. I kept insisting the mistakes weren't my doing, but no manager or coworker believed me. I ended up taking all the fall alone. I'd been furious and heartbroken, yet stubborn enough not to shed a single tear in front of any of them. Later, when I met Chen Yu, he saw how drained I was and asked, "What's wrong?" If no one had asked, I might have buried that pain forever, but as soon as he spoke, my tears burst free. I babbled through messy sobs, stumbling over the whole story with the tender papers. Chen Yu listened patiently the entire time, then wiped my tears away. "Don't cry, I'll never let anyone hurt you like this when you're with me." Not long after, news broke that the company had been evading massive taxes. It was a small firm to begin with, and the audit shut them down completely. I was stunned when I heard later learning Chen Yu's law firm had led the investigation against them. Memories of all that kindness flooded my mind, and I couldn't hold back my tears any longer. I wasn't crying over how humiliating the present moment was, I just couldn't wrap my head around how easily someone could flip their promises upside down. He'd sworn he'd never let me suffer. Where was that promise now? I'd believed his love was genuine, yet genuine feelings could shift in the blink of an eye. When he saw me crying, panic finally flashed across Chen Yu's face. He let go of Meng Yangxi and reached out to pull me close. "Ran. I didn't mean." I stepped backward, shoving both hands behind my back, overcome with revulsion. "Don't touch me," I said flatly. His hand froze suspended midair. Meng Yangxi glanced at me, then gently pushed his hanging arm down. "Ran. I use only my legal representative handling my divorce case. I just moved into a new place and needed furniture, so I asked him to come help me shop. If this makes you uncomfortable, we can cut our trip short right now." "I'll take a taxi home by myself. You drive." Ran back and explain everything properly to her. "Don't get upset with her." With that, Meng Yangxi turned and walked off effortlessly, leaving me stuck as the unreasonable one. She was brilliant. The weak, understanding woman won everyone's sympathy. The woman who refused to back down just looked crazy and bitter. Back home, Chen Yu held his phone out to me. "Yangxi's just a client. I never even added her WeChat. There's nothing between us at all." I was exhausted beyond words. I had zero desire to look through his phone. I didn't yell or throw a fit. I simply ignored him the whole night. But he was the one who lost his temper instead. After hours of my cold silence, he ripped the covers off me, jaw tight with frustration. "Ran, how long are you gonna keep this up? Yangxi left early today just to avoid upsetting you. She's pregnant, and she went out of her way to accommodate you. Tell me what I need to do to make this right for you." My whole body burned with fever, my head spinning wildly. Yet all I could do was laugh hollowly. Suddenly I was the unreasonable one. Meng Yangxi was the fragile pregnant woman, but what about me? The positive pregnancy test slip still sat plainly visible on the nightstand. As a lawyer, Chen Yu noticed every tiny shift around our house. If I tossed out a single wilted flower, he'd spot it immediately and replace the entire bouquet the next day. Now the pregnancy test, inches from his reach, had completely slipped his notice. I could have told him straight out, "Chen Yu, I'm pregnant." But what would that accomplish? Would he regret his choices? Would he abandon Meng Yangxi? Would I be able to pretend Meng Yangxi never held a special place in his heart? By this point, whether I carried his child or not didn't matter anymore. A crystal clear plan formed inside my head. "Chen Yu, I don't want to talk about this right now. I'm worn out. Can I rest first?" Normally mature and level-headed in front of others, Chen Yu turned stubborn as a child in that moment. "We resolve this before you sleep," I sighed, grabbing his hand and pressing it to my forehead. "I think I have a fever." Chen Yu froze, then hurried to dig through our medicine cabinet. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" He stuck a cooling gel patch on my forehead and fetched oral fever medicine for me to take. I stroked my stomach, eyes cast down. "The medicine tastes bitter. Can you grab me a piece of candy?" We had none at home, so Chen Yu headed downstairs to the convenience store to buy some. The second he left, I flushed all the pills down the toilet. When he returned, I ate the candy he'd brought without a hint of oddity on my face. I wasn't sure if my fragile, sick state stirred his protective instincts, or if my tears earlier had filled him with guilt. Either way, he was unusually gentle that night. He sat beside my bed the entire time, keeping a glass of warm water within arm's reach. checking my temperature every 30 minutes, constantly wringing out cold towels to cool my fever. His actions showed care for me, yet none of that stopped him from sitting by my sickbed, scrolling his phone to search how to relieve severe morning sickness. He'd taken a phone call right before that, stepping fully outside the bedroom to answer it just like he always did for Meng Yangxi. When he came back, I thought he'd rush out to her side. Instead, he only felt my forehead, swapped out my cooling patch, and sat back down. I turned to stare at him, confused. He raised an eyebrow. What's wrong? I shook my head and closed my eyes to rest, but my senses were sharpened to a painful degree. The bedroom lights were dim, yet the harsh glow of his phone screen seared my eyelids. I couldn't help opening my eyes, watching him type out a text based on the search results he'd pulled up. Chen Yu, pregnant women can't take random meds, it could hurt the baby. Chen Yu, I ordered oranges delivered to your place via instant courier. See if they calm your nausea. Chen Yu, if it doesn't help, book an appointment at the hospital. Meng Yangxi replied instantly. Meng Yangxi, I'm too scared to go to the hospital alone. Can you come stay with me, Yu? Chen Yu, Ran's running a fever. I can't leave her right now. Meng Yangxi, alright, take good care of her, I'll manage on my own. She was clever and she knew Chen Yu well. He hated dramatic, clingy women, but he crumbled easily under guilt. That's why she never begged or clung to him, she always pulled back first, playing the self-sacrificing victim. She acted calm and unproblematic, yet tugged at his heartstrings every single time. Sure enough, the conversation that could have ended there dragged on. After a long pause, Chen Yu typed another message. Chen Yu, if you're still feeling terrible tomorrow, I'll take you to the hospital myself. Meng Yangxi, rest well too. Don't overwork yourself taking care of someone sick. Chen Yu, He set his phone down, laid down beside me, and wrapped me tightly in his arms, sighing against my ear. Ran, get better soon. Was he genuinely hoping I'd recover quickly? Or was he waiting for my fever to break so he could rush off to Meng Yangxi's hospital visits without guilt weighing on him? My heart felt completely numb. Either way, it no longer mattered to me. I had decent stamina, and even without medicine, hours of cold towel compresses brought my fever down overnight. Chen Yu had stayed up tending to me all night and fell asleep beside me. I got up early and cooked a big pot of thick congee, way more than just 2 servings. After we finished eating, he glanced at the leftover pot. I'll pack this to take to the office. Okay. I fetched an insulated lunchbox and stuck a Buzz Lightyear sticker on the lid for him. Before walking out, he instinctively leaned in to kiss my forehead. I flinched backward without thinking, then realized how obvious my reaction was. Before he could grow suspicious, I reached up and straightened his tie for him. He let the moment pass, brushing his palm over my forehead. Your fever's gone, still feeling sick? I'm much better. Chen Yu left for work. I took the day off, planning to head to the hospital for my official prenatal